All right, well, hi, my name is Finn,
I'm Dessy.
and today we are talking about
Journalism at Western with an emphasis on Klipsun magazine.
I'll repeat the joke that I made before we had to reshoot this, but that sounds like a class title or like a subfield of the major or
Yeah.
something.
So you're talking about like visual journalism major with a concentration in classical studies.
Yeah.
I think I've said it too much.
Well,
lately.
we can go right into it. So we met through the journalism department. I think that's pretty much
Yeah.
how we know each other.
Yeah.
3 years? Is it? No, it's not 3 years ago.
2021. 2022 school year.
When did I meet you in 2021?
It was like the fall quarter of 2021. Probably just, yeah.
Wait, when?
Because we had the front 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Did we meet?
Freaking the floor 2 of CF.
But I know we met at the front, but did we meet before the front?
That honestly we could have. I feel like I was in that floor so because I was in and out of Joe's office, Joe Gostin's office, because I just transferred here and I was like, I don't know anything and my advisor will not help me. And you're the only other VJ professor that I even know of because my LTA at my community college had Joe as a professor when Joe used to teach at Brooks Institute down in Santa Barbara, California. And that's where my community college was. So I had heard about Joe Gostin like a bunch.
Wow.
And had his colleague, Greg Cooper, as a professor down there as well. So when I transferred here, they both were like, go to Joe.
And you were like...
And I went straight to Joe. And I had to petition a couple classes to count. So then I was just in and out of his office a bunch. And honestly, he was just like, oh, no, I called Greg. The classes are, if anything, you've done a little more than we do here. So you're fine. So how is Santa Barbara right now? And we would just talk about Santa Barbara a bunch.
Aww.
But I was just in and out of those offices so much. We may have, I don't know.
I mean, I definitely knew, Andy.
Everyone knew Andy.
Well, he came into my office all the time. So I work at ATUS Classroom Services, the equipment loan place for cameras and laptops. And so a lot of journalism people... well, actually, just people, but journalism people especially, I see all the time because they come in when I'm on shift.
Yeah.
Like yourself.
I do rent a lot of gear. I feel like I'm just taking half of it every time I go. Might as well get a cart.
Yeah. Well, we do have those, but but we met on the front. That was 2 years ago. We both did 214.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, and you're now the editor-in-chief of Klipsun.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Our feature magazine.
Yeah, show it off. So that's
This is the fall issue.
Previous two issues ago.
Yeah. I was Emmy and multimedia editor for this one. And I sat down with one of our designers and helped do a lot of the layout and
Beautiful.
Color and stuff.
So for people I would say the majority of people that watch this are people I know from Western, but some aren't. So what is Klipsun? What is, I know obviously it's a magazine, but what does it showcase? How do people write for it? What is the process like?
Yeah, totally. You'd be surprised by how many people, even in the journalism department, don't really understand Klipsun until they actually work on it. It's our featurey lifestyle more orientated magazine. It's not necessarily that, but that's kind of where more the market is. It's a class, so the writers are a class, and then all the editors are hired positions. So I don't know if you ever touched base about the front on this before, but
oh right.
If you have, or if you haven't, I'm going to explain it either way. But the editors for the front, the Planet magazine, and Klipsun, the staff is pretty much the same. The editor-in-chief gets hired, and then they hire their staff. So they decide what types of editors they want. We get a specific amount we're allowed to go up till, but you hire your staff.
Right.
They take it for pay or for credit, same as editor-in-chief.
And all the publications, I should say, all the publications, the front, Planet, Klipsun, are independent.
Yes.
The university. So there's a council of students and professors that hire the editor-in-chief, and then the editor-in-chief hires everyone, and they just run it.
Yes.
So it's not I mean, funded by the university, but it's not like directed by the university in that sense.
Yeah, so it's the editor-in-chief that's hired is running it that quarter. Unless it's the Planet, then it's the entire school year. And then, just as you were saying, we run it ourselves. So we have an advisor, so we have a professor. So the front's Key Realize. And then for Klipsun, it's Peggy Watt. And this year it's Levi. I don't know his last name. Sorry, Levi. He's the advisor for the Planet. Super cool science guy. We don't know who it will be next year. It's not official.
Yeah.
And they kind of help guide us along the way. They answer any questions. They are there if you don't really know what you're doing. But you also generally have a managing editor, which I was for Perseverance. And then this quarter, I have my own managing editor, Basil. But they just kind of like are your right-hand man. They help you along the way. They answer questions. Usually they're the editor-in-chief before, but not always. At least that's how it happens historically for Klipsun.
Mhm.
But once editor-in-chief is picked, either before or shortly after, they pick the theme for that issue for the magazine. The Planet works the same. The front is just an ongoing newspaper, so they don't really have a theme. They don't have a theme.
No.
But
I mean, different editors-in-chief will try to emphasize different things or try to prioritize. But yeah, there's no official theme.
But the theme there is, besides just like don't do something that's been done in the last 5 years, there's pretty much no guidelines. Miley's chose Perseverance. Basil last quarter chose Connections, and this quarter I chose Euphoric.
Why'd you choose that?
I wanted something abstract in nature, but also positive in nature. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sick and tired of reading COVID stories. I care about your struggles, but like, I don't want to pick up another edition of the Klipsun and hear about another restaurant's COVID-19 story.
Sure.
I mean, not to like dumb down anyone's struggles, but like we all struggled. I'm personally trying to like take that, learn from it, and not necessarily fully move on, but like go on with my life.
Try something new.
I don't want to keep getting dragged back into it.
Sure.
And I told that to the writers on the first day. I was like, if you pitch me a COVID-19 related story, I will say you will have to repitch, because that's not going in my issue. I didn't need something. I didn't want a magazine fully positive, and we did succeed in that. I have anti-theme and completely on-topic theme articles in my edition going into it. It's pretty balanced with them, so you'll open it, and I would put money on that people are going to open up my edition, and they will laugh, and they will cry. I also, with my theme, I wanted abstract in nature, because I wanted, when you pick it up, I wanted it so you didn't know exactly what to expect.
Sure.
Design-wise, color-wise, and story-wise. I wanted it to be I wanted it to be Klipsun, but to set a new bar for Klipsun, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and so when people write for Klipsun, they're writing
for a class.
Yeah, right. But I mean, in terms of content, there's like kind of personal narrative. There's kind of like you implied, like maybe highlighting a part of a community, like not reporting, but like a little bit more like, oh, I'm gonna not write about like myself necessarily, but like this other person.
We have there's no like, we get into like small groups, but it's just small editors. We don't have beat teams, much like a newspaper does, where you write about like campus life, city life, sports, like specific things.
Right.
What happens is on the Klipsun, you get assigned 3 things. You get assigned a long form article, which is around 1,500 words, a medium form, which is 500 to 800 words, and a multimedia, which could be photo essay, podcast, video, just something more like visual journalism orientated. And you have to do all 3 in order to, because you get graded on all 3.
Yeah.
When there's 3 rounds there's first, second, third draft, and then if you get put in print or online, there's a production draft. And people get to write about whatever they want. The editor-in-chief just stands in front of the class, and they go, this is my theme. These are generally the articles I think I would write about it, which when I looked at them, I was like, the only article I've been able to think of is about ketamine treatment on mental health disorders, which someone did write about. So, and it is going in the magazine.
That's nice.
I've watched some of my family members go through like really like bad depression and just like treatment resistant depression. And it's just like such a beautiful alternative. Beautiful is a weird word to say, but when you read the article, you'll see like what I mean. Way of like
it's a
treating it.
it's an option for people.
Yeah.
It's like something that
Yeah. It's just so cool. But you'll have to read the article.
Sure.
But I was just like, that's the only story I got for you. But I was like, I want you to dig deep. I want you to tell your stories if you feel comfortable. I want you to tell the stories of people around you if you feel comfortable. I want like in-depth, full, like proper reporting. This is a class. Some of you are going to treat it as a class, but I want you to care what I think about your stuff.
Yeah.
And I think in saying that, I think people did care a little more than usually in the past. But yeah, they get to write about whatever. So they just pitch us. They just submit story ideas to us that fit each idea, and then we sit in a circle of like editors, and we like read through them all and we discuss them all. And a lot of times there's like a theme that people like in the fall for Perseverance. It was like 90% sports stories. And we were like, well, not everyone can write about the women's soccer team. So we're going to assign it to one person with the strongest pitch, and then we're going to ask the rest to repitch. And this quarter we had a lot of dance-oriented stories. So we were like, well, not all of you can write about the Salsa Bachata Club, which is a phenomenal club, which I wrote about on the front.
Yeah.
Little plug. But
I think I remember that, actually.
it was my favorite story I wrote. But they truly get to write about whatever they want. And, like, within reason, because, like, we will be, like, maybe structure it this way differently, or this will fit the theme better. But, yeah. I mean, nothing's off limits. Couple, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, the theme was love, sex, and rock and roll. So, yeah. The theme could be anything. As long as it's not, like, a slur.
Well, I would assume.
Yeah.
Do we know what the theme is for the fall, or has that not been announced yet?
I don't. So the editor-in-chief for the fall is Jace. I always butcher their last name. I always want to say Picasso, but it's Picasso, I think. They're a PR major. He's wonderful. He's very phenomenal. He was one of my writers when I was multimedia editor. I don't know if he has a theme.
Well,
and if he does, he's keeping it quite a secret. There's no minglings about it.
Wait and see. I'm taking Klipsun in the fall. It's my last journalism course.
That's so exciting.
Potentially ever. I don't do it in grad school, so.
That's your minor, right?
Yes. Yeah. I made journalism, news ed minor, and a history and political science double major.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So Klipsun, we'll see how it goes in the fall. I used to be a lot more intimidated by that kind of featurey long form writing, and I feel a lot more comfortable with it over like the last year. I feel like I've gotten a lot more comfortable with my writing skills, and so I'm actually quite looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like once you like understand journalism, the longer writings get easier. Once you understand your style and you understand like, because I feel like you read journalism and you're like, how do I write in a newsy way, in a long way? But it's really like a weird combination of creative writing and journalism. It's like creative writing, but with the AP style and grammar of like journalism.
Right.
So you're still telling a narrative, but you're doing it in like a story, like a scene setting way.
Yeah, I think part of it is just like finding the way that this is for me, like finding the way that I like to deliver information, in the sense of there's a lot of, when you are taught how to write, there's a lot of kind of formulas of this is how you should structure a paragraph, and this is how you structure, or this is like the word choice that you use, and that's all super helpful and kind of necessary to write clearly and cogently. But I think you also have to find writers, like essayists, kind of out there that you resonate with and that you incorporate.
Yeah.
Like parts of their style that you like into your own writing style. I don't really know how to describe it any more precise than that, but
no, that makes sense to me. I think about, I talk about this issue a lot because I worked on Klipsun a lot. Like I was a writer for Fear 2 summers ago, and then after that, like for Nostalgia Ryan's issue, like we were in Capstone together, visual journalism Capstone, and he was like he was asking me questions along the way. So like I feel like I was a little bit of a part of that. I've taken photos from some issues in the past while actually not being on staff. It's like I've been a part of a handful of them, but this is the first issue like I was an actual editor where I got to be a part, because I got to be a hiring process too. So I was there from the start to the beginning. And anyways, I just feel like I have a lot to talk about when it comes to this one. But what you were saying reminds me a lot about Tarn Bregman's piece about breaking his back mountain biking, which is you can break your back multiple times and like still be fine.
Because what do you mean by fine?
Like Tarn, who literally still goes mountain biking all the time. This is where he broke it.
Oh wow.
I know. That's like the 5th time he's broken his back in his life. When he was a kid, he fell off monkey bars, which you can read about in the article, by the way. And broke like bits of like the top of his spine.
Jeez.
He's like healed spine breakage multiple times, and he's like still out there skiing in the Alps and like mountain biking like nothing ever happened.
That's incredible.
I know. I think it's the human body's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyways, he was having a really, really hard time writing this piece, like his long form piece, his point of view, narrative. And then he sat down with one of our editors at the time, who was a creative writing major, and they talked to him about like the creative writing side of writing, and then being able to like him sitting down and reading pieces that are like just creative writing, like narratives, helped him just progress his writing so much further.
Yeah.
So it breaks you out of that newsy, like, head, subhead, lead, nut graph, inverted period. Pyramid.
I mean, I don't think that, like, kind of structure doesn't work for everyone. Like, I think I think it does, for sure. And I know you're not saying that. I was just building a point. But, like, for me, I had to sort of approach it as, like, okay, I'm going to make a point with this writing, but I'm painting a picture along the way. Like, I should allow myself to go on little tangents and to have fun with my word choice.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I don't have to use the first. I don't have to pick the most boring synonym for whatever I'm trying to do.
Fun ones.
Yeah, exactly.
You get to put voice into your writing.
I think that's what it is. I think I found voice, and now I connect so much more. I mean, I have more fun writing. Like, writing essays is actually like, I mean, I don't love the deadlines, but it's like fun for me now. Whereas before I just hated it. So, yeah, I think everyone has their own kind of journey to get there.
Yeah, no, I agree. I used to hate writing. Visual journalism major. I make jokes about it a lot of time. I'm always like, I don't write. I'm a VJ major. But it's like, I think some of that has to do a lot with I love my community college. I started college as studio art major with a minor in poli-sci. And then I found myself in visual journalism. But I used to I loved like research paper writing, but I hated like freeform writing, which is like a little more how I would describe journalism, because it's not. I mean, it's research based, but it's like a collaborative kind of sense.
Yeah, but like you're painting that, you're telling that story, you're painting that picture.
Yeah, and my community college, they were like, "Oh, you're a photojournalism major, like you will not be writing for the paper." So it was like I was a staff photographer, and then I was photo editor, and then I was like ME photo editor, and I wrote like opinion pieces for our editor column, but besides that, I did no writing. I didn't we did AP like style like copy editing quizzes together, but I always got the who or whom's questions. I never got like the fun, like the actual like hard questions. I got the like, should we use who or whom here?
I don't care.
I gotta go take my pictures actually. And then I transferred to Western, and they're like, no, you need to write. And I was like, I don't want to. Like, I know how. Like, I've taken my 207 equivalent at my community college. Like, I've taken basic journalism, like news writing, but no, I'm a VJ major. I don't need to write. Yeah. And then I took the front, and I was like, I hate this because it's hard, but I didn't hate it because of the writing. Yeah. And then I took Klipsun, and I was like, this is really cool. Didn't have the best experience with like my writing side. My medium fell through, and then I just wasn't as on top of my long form as much as I needed to be. I'd like to thank Ellie Coberly. We did a double byline, and she really kept me focused.
Nice.
But I don't know, through like Western's like style of teaching, it really got me out of the like I'm a VJ major, I just operate a camera, and got me into I'm a journalism major, but like I operate a camera. And writing, I think it's just fun. Everyone takes their own journey. Got on tangent there.
That's okay. What's the on the visual journalism side? What's the like most fun or maybe like most fulfilling kind of VJ project that you have worked on or done?
I think it was the capstone class. I've nothing to Joe Gosen. I love him dearly. I think he is a phenomenal professor. I'd recommend him to anyone, even on a VJ like kid. But coming into Western, I think my community college set me up like for success a little too well.
Mm-hmm.
So my first couple classes, I don't want to say I wasn't learning things, but I wasn't like, I already knew more about camera or like video editing or photo editing than my classmates did. So I was learning like more Adobe centered stuff. And I had like special projects from like, or like special emphases within our projects from Joe to like work different strengths that I needed to learn. Because as he was sitting there teaching people what the ISO means and how to change the aperture and what shutter speed means, I was like already out filming because I'd already done so much for my community college. And because of that, I think the most pivotal class where I like learned really the most when it was visual journalism centered was the capstone, which is the end all be all class. But you do basically you're kind of ushered into doing a documentary, but you don't have to. The structure of that class is the entire class as a whole picks a theme. And my class's theme was food for thought, so it was food centered. And then you break up into small groups, and usually you make a documentary or a film of some sorts. Sometimes you do a really big photo essay, or you do a bunch of website design. There's a promo video that has to be made for each quarter. We do headshots. Like everyone does like a little bit of different things, but for that class, I was with Ryan Scott and Sam Christopherson, and the three of us made a short film on closed loop practices for farming.
I was at the premiere for that.
Yeah, you were at the premiere for that. Thank you for coming.
It was a year ago.
Yeah, it was. But it also, personally, it was just a really cool experience because at the beginning of that quarter, I had spent 2 weeks in the hospital.
Right.
And I came out, and a week later, I was like in a farm field filming after being told I should have died twice. Jeez. So it was like, not only did I learn a lot, and I got to be in these really cool scenarios with these amazing farmers who not only care about their animals, their products, but also the nature and like giving back to it what they take. But I just also was like showing myself like how strong I am. And going back to like how cool the human body is. Like how like it just
resilient.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that class. But it's also just it's not just. It's an amazing class that's structured in a really cool way that really allows people, cuz in VJ, like you think of it, you're like, oh, photos, videos, maybe podcast. Yeah. But I mean, it's like like Andy Ford mentioned, he was originally like an architecture major, and he didn't get into the major, so he went over to VJ, and he was able to learn what he wanted to do in the world, but like in a different format. Or we have a bunch of people who are like thinking about graphic design, but it didn't really resonate with them, so they came to VJ. So we all have like our own emphases within multimedia, like visual multimedia as a whole. And in that class, you're able to like explore that more than just like not the weird, but like the very specific assignments before that.
Yeah, well, wow, that sounds like a really like unique experience. Obviously, like one that was, at least in terms of like medical stuff, like scary, but also like ended up being. It's cool that you got that like kind of a meaningful experience out of that, and the human body is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I've been, lucky enough to not have any medical kind of situations in my like childhood and adult life. But when I was a baby, I was in and out of the hospital pretty much constantly for it's a very long story that I won't go into now, but it is basically related to my disability. And yeah, man, I had like airlifted. I had like I had
Whoa.
sepsis at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So, um, and so even though obviously it's a different experience because I don't remember any of that. I was less than 2 years old, but like I literally have the scars to prove it from
Yeah.
that whole period. And sometimes, it's like you realize what what all the things that happened um, to bring you to where you are, good and bad,
Mhm.
and that perspective is really sobering and obviously existential, but it also
It
makes
makes
you
you think about
value.
it makes you think about life. So I just like I've always thought about college as like, oh, this is like a learning thing. Like I'm gonna
Mhm.
come to college, and it's gonna be this amazing experience where I get to like learn more about myself, yada yada, all that
Right,
stuff you're told
right.
to like think about it. But like I don't know, I feel like I've had friends in college where they're like, this is just a checkpoint. Like I have to do this class, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get whatever grade I get, C's get degrees, I'm in and out. I'm in and out as fast as possible. And I was like, and I've always been like, that's a really sad way to look at something you're spending so much money on.
Mhm.
Let alone like just you have so many resources to you. Like why wouldn't you utilize them? And that whole experience, it was like I never thought I was gonna be an EIC ever.
Me
Like
neither.
I was
Me
like
neither.
I
Yeah.
was like, why would I do that? I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't feel the need. I don't have the time. Like, and not because it's a checkpoint thing, but just because I like paying out of state tuition. Like, I don't have time to just fluff another quarter just to be an EIC.
Mhm.
And then I had to drop a class last spring for that, and that, and then I just pushed all my because I was gonna take summer classes, so I just
Mhm.
pushed everything to a quarter and a half
Mhm.
basically this year. And in doing that, I was like, what resources more now that I'm going to be here for a while can I actually utilize?
Yeah.
So I applied to be ME and I got it, and then I applied to be multimedia editor and was asked to be ME in the fall, and then I applied to EIC because I was like, why the hell not? It's someone needs to do it. I think it'd be cool.
For the experience.
The experience.
Yeah.
You gotta utilize.
I think
what's
you
going on
have.
on
I think
campus.
people, you have to look at life from like, well, in 20 years or 10 years or when I'm old or whatever, like, what will I have preferred making the memories
Mhm.
of doing this thing, like this like being an EIC or like joining this club or whatever, versus like not like I feel like as much as you can and feel able to, saying yes to opportunities for just a new experience,
Yeah.
super valuable.
People ask me a lot. They're like, like a lot of people in town. And I'm like, I know a lot of people because I say yes to opportunities all the time. I'm like
That's me
out
too.
in the community all the time. I'm like
Yeah.
doing stuff around campus, on campus, outside of campus. I am a very social person, and I just by nature end up meeting a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then in doing that, like that's offered me even more opportunity.
Oh yeah, the connections. Yeah.
And it's like you never know where life will take you until
Mhm.
you get out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Well, in the interest of time,
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to since I know that you put effort into it, I want to do the fit check really quick.
Oh, I did put effort
Yeah.
into this.
So break it down.
So do I need to stand or can I stay sitting?
You can stay sitting.
Okay.
I don't know if the camera would pick up you.
That's true.
Anyway,
It is set to
so
us.
as much as you
So I'm sure as everyone sees in all the videos, if you don't know Finn personally, but you've seen from the videos, Finn always has like outfits that are just so cool. And I was like, I mean, I should dress up for this, but I was like, I need to put on a cool outfit today. So I have my favorite boots on, which they're Doc Martens. Easiest. Doc Martens are really hard to break in, but these were so easy. But they're platform. They're fun. Favorite socks. They're called Arvin Goods. They're made out of recycled cotton.
Nice.
Snazzy overalls, and then I have a shirt with a dinosaur on it.
What? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Big dinosaur fan.
Big dinosaur.
Personally.
Oh, I think this is Sagittarius. What is it? I'm gonna say Sagittarius, which is not. That's
I think it's
The one with the
a
logo.
sauropod of some sort.
Oh, I don't know dinosaurs that well. And then yeah, I just got my usual accessories. Got my rings and my nails
Nice.
painted, fun colors.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I like. I was noticing this how you got one strap of the overall like this.
Yeah.
The other one is like a sash or something.
Yeah, it's wrapped around the other side because it's annoying when it hangs down, and then, it's more comfortable when it's wrapped around because then it like you don't have to like tighten it to like clip it down or anything. And then also doing one, it shows off the dinosaur on my shirt. Which
Awesome.
I had to do. Yeah.
Big fan.
Thank you.
We'll end out here. But at the end of every episode, I ask the same question, and the question is, what are you looking forward to? This could be something like in your personal life, something in the world, something related to academic, just anything, but something positive in the future that you're
I think
forward to.
This summer as a whole, I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah.
So I graduate in 2 weeks, right? I graduate on the 15th. Very excited. And last summer, I was supposed to hike Mount Whitney and summit it down in California, and then also do Golden Years at the end of the summer. It's like I did it a couple summers ago, didn't finish it, and I still really want to. And then because I was healing from 2 major surgeries on my stomach, I just didn't have the physical strength to be hiking 16 miles and summiting a mountain reasonably. So this summer, I know someone who's doing the PCT, so I might join them for a leg of it. But besides that, I will be training all summer to finally do the Golden Ears hike up in the Golden Ears National Park in Canada. It's like I think it's 12 to 16 miles. I think it's like 12 kilometers, whatever that relates to in miles. And then you also summit a mountain, and you have to it's a backpacking thing.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be like my end of summer, like congrats on graduating thing to myself.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I think it's gonna be really cool.
Are you here? Or are you back home, wherever home is? Or?
I'm here. So home is Wisconsin. I went to school.
Right,
I went to community college in California. I market myself sometimes as like a California resident. I'm not Wisconsin native. Born and raised till I was 18. Don't have the accent anymore, but I was. And I'll be here. I live here.
Fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm here until whenever I decide to leave, I guess. Gotta leave.
There you go. That's not a bad place to be.
No. Not at all.
All right. Well, I think that's it for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and read Klipsun magazine. When does it come out? When does the new issue come out?
My issue comes out in the fall of next year. We're writing for the fall.
Nice.
But online stories will go out probably this summer some point.
And if you see an issue there are issues from other quarters that are distributed around campus, and if you see an issue, pick one up.
You can see me in the back of it.
Yeah. There you are. All right. Bye, everyone.